Alpha Aviation Group, one of the top aviation schools in Asia Pacific that offers world-class training for aspiring pilots and airline pilots seeking recurrency training. Upholding the highest standards in all aspects such as training, client relations, and safety, AAG treats both its clients and employees as family. Starting off my OJT in the company, they quickly made me feel welcome, guiding me in my duties and even going as far as helping me in my accommodation and transportation problems. Alpha Aviation's pride and joy are the state-of-the-art flight simulators. With both full flight and fixed base simulator, AAG is accredited by multiple international aviation authorities to give world-class training to its cadets. Flight simulators are complex feats of engineering that allow pilots to train as if they were flying in an actual aircraft with the ability to quickly change their environment to experience the different weather conditions or even experience accurately simulated failures that allow them to train and hone their skills in the craft. Fixed-base simulators are flight simulators that use a collimated display with three projectors in order to achieve an illusion of depth. The lamp or laser projectors project curved or morphed images which are calibrated to look realistic once viewed from the other side of a curved mirror. The interiors of fixed-base simulators mimic that of the aircraft they are designed for. Every detail is accounted for, from the lightning and buttons used to the actual resistance of the levers and pedals, which is called the control loading. These simulators contain five main modules that allow for realistic simulations. These are the visual modules with projectors and the image generator, which is simply the computer that generates the frames to be projected based on the simulation, the sound modules, which include the speakers and the amplifier, with the cockpit having speakers in multiple angles, the simulator host module, which may or may not include the instructor's station computer and is responsible for organizing and synchronizing the task between all other modules, the MCDU module, which generates the data and images for the primary flight displays, the navigational displays, and the ECAM or MCDU screens in the cockpit, and also the control loading module, which controls and adjusts the resistance felt by cadets when using the yoke, rudder pedals, and thrust lever. Alpha Aviation's model of the fixed-base simulator is the Multi-Pilot Solutions or MPS Airbus A320-200 fixed-base simulator. Aside from the MPS A320 FBS, AAG also has three other fixed-base simulators, the oldest one being the ALCIM 200 from the early 2000s, which can be converted from a propeller aircraft to a small jet engine aircraft. Another FBS is the ALCIM 172 aircraft, the only one in the Philippines and only one of the 9 manufactured worldwide. This state-of-art fixed-base simulator is that a Cessna 172S with a G1000 cockpit which has a GPS and autopilot. The latest addition to the fixed-base simulator is the Mechatronics Boeing 737 fixed-base simulator shipped all the way from UAE. This one holds a special place in my heart since I was part of a team that assembled this simulator from scratch when it first arrived. These simulators contain the same main modules from the MPS A320. Now, for the big guns, in order for airline pilots to truly train and prepare for their careers, they have to undergo training in full flight simulators. Containing the same module types from A320 fixed-base sim, Full flight sim add one more crucial module, motion. Full flight simulators utilize ball screw or hydraulic mechanisms in order to simulate motion, be it smooth flying or extreme turbulence, or even a free fall or crash state. AAG has three full flight simulators. The newest addition is the L3 Harris A320 Neo or CEO full flight simulator, which uses hydraulic legs to simulate motion, and the other two being the CAE A320 full flight simulator and the CAE A330 A340 full flight simulator, both utilizing ball screw legs to simulate motion. In charge of maintaining the integrity, quality, and cleanliness of these simulators are the sim technician from the simulator department, and this is where I come in. During my OJT, I have been taught both through manuals or lectures and actual experience the insides and outsides of these flight simulators. On my first day, we started off by familiarizing the components, modules, and working principles of the simulators. Simulator technicians ensure that the flight simulators are fit to be used in training 24/7. They do this through many steps, the first being through sanitation. Due to the pandemic, AAG is extremely strict when it comes to employee and client health and well-being. After every session, change crew procedures have to be performed by simulator technicians. We unload and load the simulators and then disinfect the interior using specialized towelettes for electronic equipment. After which, we set the aircraft parameters and switch positions as necessary. The most common being a cold and dark cockpit positioned at RPLS Gate 012. Airlines use different variations of the A320's engines, so we adjust them accordingly based on who's who on the next section. Specifically, CFM engines for PAL Express, and Cebu Pacific clients, and IAE engines for the AirAsia, Royal Air, and Vietjet clients. Pan Pacific and Emirates Airlines also train with AAG from time to time, but I have not encountered them during my OJT duration. During the second week of my OJT, the shipment of simulator parts for the Mechatronics Boeing 737 FBS arrived. The night shift Simtex did the basic structural setup, while for the next few days, we, the day shift team, work on the visual systems, the electronic systems, as well as the overhead panel touchscreen system. This was a great experience that allowed me to further learn about the simulator components in depth due to assembling it from scratch. There were many challenges involved, mostly weight issues due to the lack of manpower to lift the heavy supports, and as well as a few missing screws and old components because this simulator is actually also from the early 2000s and runs on Windows XP. I also cataloged and inventoried the remaining spare parts after the assembly. AAG also has many guests, both student and client-related guests, which AAG gladly gives a tour and demonstration of the flight simulators, with the demonstration portion at the duty of the simulator technicians and available flight instructors. For the tour, we usually give them an orientation of the aircraft, its basic functions and features, as well as a demonstration of a takeoff and landing, which were taught to me by my fellow sim technicians. As part of fully understanding how simulators work, my colleagues taught me the basics of the simulator operation, including takeoff and landing.
500. Zero input. 30, 20, retard.
When we arrived at AAG, our initial agreement with our supervisors was that half of our OJT would be in the simulator technician department and the other half would be spent being deployed to their line maintenance outstation in La Union. Due to time constraints, however, we did not get the chance to be deployed. Instead, the aircraft maintenance safety officer made it up to us and gave us a tour of their storage hangars in Inaek Clark Airport. There, we learned about the basic flight mechanics and systems of their Cessna 172S and Cessna 172R aircraft. Apart from this, we learned the essential documents that must always be on board on an aircraft at all times, coined AROWID or airworthiness, registration of aircraft, radio operator's license, weight and balance sheet, and insurance documents. We were also taught basic maintenance procedures, mainly focusing on pre-flight checks regarding the oil, fuel, and control surfaces. Lastly, we were also taught how to tow an aircraft by hand. The aircraft in the hangar were under preservation status since the start of the pandemic. The 10 Cessna 172S and Rs had their oils replaced with preservation oils which prevent damage from being stored for a long time. For almost 2 months of staying in Alpha Aviation, here's my daily attendance journal and my supervisor's evaluation. And finally, here's my certificate of completion. As I pack my bags and head towards the airport, I bring with me the countless memories and experiences from AEG. I can't help but to feel sad knowing that I am leaving behind the people that took me in and the job that I actually had fun while learning. These experiences broadened my horizon on the endless possibilities in chasing my passion for aerospace and various employment opportunities in the field, and has made me realize that no matter how good I am in my studies, it is through actual experience that I truly learn, which in this case means that learning lasts a lifetime. Now signing off from the Simulator Technician Department, I am norabethmejia, your future aerospace engineer.